My precious child, stop for a moment and breathe. For this is the divine encounter your soul has been crying out for in the silence of the night. You must understand that in the vastness of my kingdom there are no coincidences, only appointments. And today you have arrived at the most critical junction of your destiny. For the past 44 days I have been orchestrating the stars moving mountains you didn't even know existed, and silencing the whispers of the enemy that were meant to derail your purpose. I have been in a season of intense preparation, laboring behind the veil of your physical reality to align the resources, the people, and the breakthroughs that are about to flood your life. You have felt a strange tension in the air, a restless stirring in your spirit that told you something was coming, yet you could not put it into words. That tension was the sound of my wings overshadowing you, shielding you from the storms, while I built a foundation for the miracle that is now knocking at your door. You are not here by a random stroke of luck or a glitch in an algorithm. You are here because I have summoned you to this precise frequency at this exact moment in eternity. Among the thousands who might glance at this message, I have set a sacred hedge around only 7 specific souls who were predestined to receive this particular vibration of my voice. Many have already scrolled past, blinded by the distractions of the world, and others have turned away because their hearts were hardened by the bitterness of delay. But you, my beloved, are the 7th person, the one who completes the circle of this divine decree. You are the one who has endured the longest winter, the one who has kept a flickering flame of hope alive even when the darkness felt suffocating. Because you have stayed the course and because you have refused to let go of my garment, I am revealing to you now that the 44 days of hidden preparation are officially over. The gates of heaven are swinging wide on their hinges, and the blueprints of your new life are being handed to the ministering angels. Before I reveal the deep secrets of the blessing I have signed for you, I ask you to acknowledge this holy moment. Press the like button on this video to sign your spiritual signature in agreement with my word. And subscribe to this sanctuary to join the family of believers, ensuring your soul remains connected to this stream of light. Do not stay silent in the presence of your Creator. Type "I am here, Lord" or 7007 in the comments right now to declare your presence and open the windows of heaven over your house. My precious child, I have watched you in those heavy hours when the world is silent and the weight of your worries feels like an unbearable burden upon your chest. I have seen you startle awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, your heart racing with a fear you cannot name, as if a python of anxiety were slowly tightening its coils around your spirit. In those moments, the darkness feels thick, and the shadows in the corner of your room seem to whisper of failures and missed opportunities. I saw you staring at the ceiling, your eyes burning with exhaustion, yet your mind refusing to rest as it played back every mistake, every what if, and every fear of a future that feels uncertain. You have felt so alone in those early hours, believing that no one could possibly understand the depth of the trembling in your soul. But I want you to know that I was there in the room with you. I was the whisper of peace you tried to find but couldn't quite grasp. And I was the one holding your heart steady when it felt like it might break under the pressure of your silent screams. I have seen the mask you wear so carefully during the day, the way you paint a smile upon your face and offer kind words to others while your own inner world is crumbling. You are a master of disguise, convincing the world that you are strong, that you are fine, and that you have everything under control. But I see the truth behind the curtain. I see the weary soul that is tired of being the strong one, tired of carrying the weight of the family, and tired of pretending that the arrows of life haven't left deep bleeding wounds. When the sun goes down and the social distractions fade away, I see the tears you quickly brush aside so no one will ask questions. I see you sitting on the edge of your bed, feeling like a stranger in your own life, wondering how you got to this place of stagnation. Know this, those 3 a.m. wake-up calls were not a punishment, nor were they merely a symptom of your stress. They were a divine summons. I was calling you out of the noise of the world and into the stillness so that I could eventually whisper this very message to you. You are not losing your mind and you are not falling apart. You are being dismantled so that I can rebuild you into something far more glorious than you ever imagined. My beloved, I have seen you sitting in the dim, artificial glow of your phone screen late at night, scrolling through the highlight reels of others while you are in the midst of your darkest valley. I watched as your heart sank with every image of their success, their joy, and their abundance, feeling the cold sting of comparison piercing your spirit like a needle. You looked at their smiles and their filtered victories, and in the quiet of your soul you asked, "Me, Lord, why have you forgotten me? Why is their path so smooth and golden while mine is filled with thorn stones and endless detours?" I saw the shadow of shame cross your face as you compared your behind-the-scenes struggle with their on-stage performance. You felt as though you were falling behind, as if the clock of destiny were ticking away and leaving you in the dust of obscurity, forgotten by the very world you were meant to impact. But listen to my voice. Now social media is a mirror of illusions, a curated gallery of moments, but my eyes see the raw, magnificent beauty of your hidden perseverance. I saw you type out your truth, a cry for help, a testimony of your struggle, a plea for prayer, and then I watched as you hovered over the screen for a long time before deleting every single word. You were afraid that if people saw your vulnerability, they would see you as weak or broken. You chose silence over exposure, fearing that your battle was a sign of my abandonment. But I was never closer to you than in that moment of silent deletion. I want you to understand that I was not absent in those moments of digital isolation. I was the one holding your hand when you felt the urge to hide from the world's judgment. You are not behind in life. You are being built in the secret place where no camera can reach and no filter can enhance. The people you see celebrating today were once in the same furnace you are in now. Or perhaps they are walking a path that leads to a destination that was never meant for your feet. Do not measure my favor by the yardstick of another person's progress. For your journey is a custom-made masterpiece, and the delays you are experiencing are not denials, they are divine calibrations. I am protecting you from a success that would crush you before your character is strong enough to carry its weight. I saw you delete those posts because you didn't want the world to see your failure, but I tell you today, what you call failure, I call training. What you call shame, I call the shedding of your old skin. You are being prepared for a weight of glory that requires a heart purged of the need for man's fleeting applause. If you are tired of comparing your life to others and are ready to embrace the unique path I have set for you, do not hide anymore. Type "I am unique" or 777 in the comments right now to break the spirit of comparison over your life and declare that you are satisfied with my timing alone. My precious one, I have been walking beside you through every shadow, counting every step of your journey, through the wilderness of the last few years. I remember 3 years ago, the moment the world as you knew it shattered into 1,000 jagged pieces. I saw the look in your eyes when the betrayal hit. The person you trusted, the one you leaned on, turned their back and left you standing in the cold. It wasn't just a loss. It was a tearing of your soul, a violation of the sacred trust you had so carefully built. You felt a part of you die that day, and since then you have moved through life with a shield around your heart, afraid that to love or to trust again would only lead to more blood on the floor. I saw you in the aftermath trying to piece yourself back together with trembling hands, wondering why I allowed the knife to go so deep. But I tell you now, I was catching every drop of your lifeblood that spilled. I was there not as a distant observer, but as a father who felt your agony. That betrayal was not the end of your story, but the beginning of a purging that had to happen so that only the authentic, the pure, and the divinely ordained could remain in your inner circle. Then came 2 years ago a season where the vibrant colors of your dreams began to fade into a dull, agonizing gray. You had visions once. You saw yourself standing in places of influence, of joy, and of abundance. But as the doors slammed shut and the resources dried up, I saw you take those dreams and bury them in the backyard of your heart. You covered them with the dirt of realism and maturity, telling yourself that perhaps you were just foolish to believe. I watched you mourn those dreams in secret, feeling the weight of a life that felt like a garment 2 sizes too small. And then, only 1 year ago, the most painful shift occurred: the silence. You reached a point where you stopped praying for the thing that mattered most. You stopped asking for the miracle, not because you stopped believing in my power, but because you were tired of the echo of your own voice in an empty room. The silence felt like a no, and you decided it was safer to stop asking than to keep hoping and being disappointed. But even in your silence, my child, my heart was speaking volumes. Your unanswered prayers were being processed in the highest courts, undergoing a refinement that you were not yet ready to see. Do not think for a single second that a single drop of your sorrow has been wasted or forgotten. I have kept a meticulous record of every sigh that escaped your lips when you thought no one was listening. In my heavenly sanctuary, I hold a vessel, a sacred bottle, and within it are exactly 43,217 of your tears. Every one of those 43,217 drops represents a moment where you chose to keep going despite the pain, a moment where you whispered my name through gritted teeth, or a moment where you simply wept until there was nothing left. I have counted them, I have named them, and I have stored them as a testimony of your faithfulness under fire. You are not just a number to me. You are a living, breathing sacrifice. I know the exact weight of the grief you've carried, and I am telling you now that the season of the bottle is coming to an end. It is time for those tears to be poured out as the very rain that will water the seeds of the dreams you buried 2 years ago. The ground is softening, and what you thought was dead is merely waiting for the divine moisture of your processed pain to spring forth into a harvest of joy. You have reached the end of your endurance, and that is exactly where my strength begins to overflow. You are standing on the precipice of a radical shift where the trauma of your past is being converted into the authority of your future. I am touching those wounds from 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and last year, and I am speaking a word of total restoration. Because you have suffered much, you shall receive much. The depth of your valley determines the height of your mountain. If you feel the warmth of my presence beginning to melt the ice around your heart, do not resist it. Press the like button now to signal your agreement with this restoration, and subscribe to this channel to ensure you are continually fed the bread of life as you walk out of your wilderness. This is a family of overcomers, and your place at the table is reserved. Type "He sees my tears" or 444 in the comments to claim the promise that your sorrow is being turned into a dance, and that every tear you shed has become a seed for a miracle you cannot yet imagine. My beloved child, I want to pull back the veil of the unseen and show you why it has felt as though your prayers were hitting a ceiling of brass. You have often wondered why, despite your faith and your tears, the doors remained locked and the heavens seemed silent. Listen closely to what I am about to reveal, for it will change the way you perceive your struggle. Prayer is more than just a conversation between a child and a father. It is a divine transaction. In the spiritual realms, there are laws, there are protocols, and there are courts where the destinies of men and nations are decided. You have been waiting for an answer in the physical world. But the real battle was being fought in the courtroom of heaven. For every promise I have spoken over your life, every word of healing, every seed of prosperity, and every spark of joy, there is a legal document, a contract of destiny that bears your name and my eternal seal. However, the adversary, the accuser who seeks to devour your hope, has been standing in the shadows of the dark courts, filing lawsuits against your progress. He has pointed to your past mistakes, your moments of fleeting doubt, and the generational chains of your lineage to argue that you do not have the legal right to the breakthrough you seek. This is why you felt that invisible resistance, that sense that an unseen hand was holding you back just as you were about to cross the finish line. The enemy did not just want to stop you. He wanted to tie you up in a spiritual legal battle that would drain your hope and cause you to settle for a life of mediocrity far below the royalty I have called you to. But look at what has happened while you were weeping in the dark. Your guardian angel, the one I specifically assigned to guard your soul before you drew your very first breath, saw the blatant injustice of the enemy's accusations. They saw that the enemy was overstepping his bounds, trying to steal what has already been bought and paid for by the highest price ever given. In a moment of divine urgency, seeing your strength beginning to fail, your angel did something extraordinary. They broke the standard protocol of the lower courts to bring an emergency petition directly to my throne, the Supreme Court of the universe. This was an alarm of the highest order in the spirit realm. Your angel presented the record of your 43,217 tears and the evidence of your unwavering heart that still whispered my name even when you were being crushed by the weight of the world. They argued that the time for your testing was over and the time for your vindication had finally arrived. They didn't just ask for a small favor, they demanded the full release of your inheritance. Because of this bold and unprecedented move in the spirit, the case has been moved to the highest court where I sit as the ultimate judge. I have reviewed the accusations against you, and because of the sacrifice that stands in your place, I have found the enemy's claims to be null, void, and deceptive. The legal blocks that were stopping your finances, your health, and your relationships have been struck down by the heavy gavel of my divine justice. The transaction is no longer pending, my child. It has been finalized in the archives of eternity. I have dipped my pen into the ink of my infinite mercy and signed the decree for your total liberation. This is not a maybe or a someday promise. It is a legally binding spiritual contract that the heavens and the earth must now enforce. Every angel in my kingdom has been put on notice that you are now under a special protective order of blessing. The chains that the enemy used to bind your feet have been declared illegal, and the doors he locked have been ordered to be dismantled. You may not see the physical results in your bank account or the feeling in your body at this very second, but the law of the Spirit has already shifted. The divine transaction has cleared, and the currency of heaven, unlimited favor, healing power, and supernatural abundance is being transferred into your earthly account. You are no longer a defendant fighting for survival. You are the beneficiary of a royal estate. The contract is signed, the price is paid, and the breakthrough is now an absolute, irreversible certainty. The shadows of the courtroom are fading, and the light of my verdict is beginning to dawn upon your life. My child, I want to tell you exactly what happened while your weary body finally succumbed to sleep last night. At precisely 11:47 p.m., as the world around you fell into a deep hush and the stars held their breath, I took the golden quill of my providence and placed my final signature upon the decree of your deliverance. This was not a general blessing for the masses. It was a specific, personalized mandate for your life. While you were unaware, drifting in the sea of your dreams, the Supreme Court of Heaven reached a unanimous verdict in your favor. I looked at the files of your life, the records of your faithfulness, and the scars you've carried in my name, and I declared it is enough. The time of your testing has officially expired. This decree signed at 11:47 p.m. is a legal instrument that has already begun to ripple through the dimensions of time and space. It is a cease and desist order against every demonic entity that has been hovering over your finances, your health, and your household. The moment my ink touched the scroll, the atmosphere of your future shifted from pending to granted, and a shockwave of authority was released to clear the path for your arrival. To ensure that this decree is executed with absolute precision and speed, I have dispatched the most powerful warrior in my heavenly host. Archangel Michael has been sent specifically to your coordinates. He did not come with a message of peace alone, but with a flaming sword of justice to enforce the 11:47 p.m. decree. I have watched him descend into the spiritual atmosphere of your home, and right now, as you hear my voice, he is standing guard. Michael is not just a protector, he is a chain breaker. I have commanded him to locate every invisible shackle that has been keeping you stagnant. Whether it is a chain of debt that has been passed down through your bloodline, a chain of sickness that has sapped your vitality, or a chain of depression that has clouded your mind, Michael is striking them down. I see him moving through the records of your past, burning the fraudulent files that the enemy used to accuse you. He is dismantling the altars of failure that were built against your name. There is a holy violence in his movement because he knows that your time is precious, and the window of your divine acceleration has opened. He is clearing the debris from your road so that when you step forward tomorrow, you will find no resistance, only the open highway of my favor. Michael is standing at the threshold of your reality, waiting for the sound of your agreement to fully activate the power of this dispatch. He responds to the frequency of your faith and the courage of your conviction. If you can feel the air around you growing warm, or a sudden sense of boldness rising in your chest, it is because my warrior is standing by your side. To signal your agreement with the heavens and to join the army of those who refuse to be defeated, I invite you to perform an act of faith right now. Press the like button to show that you stand with Michael, and subscribe to this channel to join this global family of light bearers, ensuring that your spirit remains tuned to the frequency of my ongoing revelations. This is not a request for your support, but a mechanism for your alignment. Michael is waiting for you to say yes to the new season I have signed into existence. Do not let this moment pass in silence. Your participation is the key that unlocks the final stage of this supernatural mission. Even as Michael works, I want you to know that the 11:47 p.m. decree covers more than just your immediate needs. It covers your legacy. I have instructed Michael to go into the future of your children and your children's children to pull up the roots of every curse that was meant to hinder them. The enemy thought he could settle for a long-term siege, but he did not account for the fact that I am the Lord of the breakthrough. The darkness that has surrounded your family for generations is being pierced by the light of this divine intervention. You are the pivot point, the chosen vessel through which the entire trajectory of your lineage is being altered. The records of lack, the history of broken hearts, and the cycles of addiction are being incinerated in the presence of my Archangel. As you move through the next few hours, walk with your head held high, for the highest power in the universe has assigned a personal escort to ensure your success. The decree is signed, the warrior is dispatched, and the victory is not just possible, it is inevitable. I hear the quiet panic in your heart. My child, the ticking of the clock that sounds like a hammer against your dreams. You look in the mirror and see the passing of years, and a cold fear grips you. The fear that you have missed your window, that you are too old, too late, or that your best days are now nothing more than fading shadows in the rearview mirror of your life. You count the years lost to that toxic relationship, the years stolen by that debilitating illness, and the years that vanished into the void of a job that drained your soul without ever fulfilling your purpose. You feel as though you have been running a race where everyone else started miles ahead, and you are exhausted from trying to catch up to a phantom version of yourself that should have been further along by now. But I am here to tell you that I am not bound by the linear progression of human clocks. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the one who stands outside of time and holds every second in the palm of my hand. Your wasted years were not a loss, they were a hidden season of pruning and preparation. You have wept over the fields of your life that were stripped bare where the locusts of depression, the cankerworms of financial lack, and the caterpillars of betrayal seemed to devour every green leaf of your hope. You looked at the barren ground and wondered if anything would ever grow there again. But listen to my decree. I am the God of the harvest, and I am putting into motion the promise I made to my people long ago. I am restoring to you the years that the locusts have eaten. I am reaching back into your past, into those dark voids where you thought your potential had died, and I am resurrecting the seeds that were dormant. I am not just giving you a new beginning. I am giving you back the compounded interest of everything that was stolen from you. What the enemy meant for your destruction, I am using as the very fertilizer for a supernatural growth that defies the laws of nature. You are not behind. You are being catapulted. I am the Redeemer of time, and I am about to perform a miracle of divine compression in your life. What usually takes a man 10 years of grinding, sweating, and struggling to achieve, I will do for you in the next 3 months. I am accelerating the seasons. I am bringing the harvester to overtake the plowman. You will find yourself walking through doors that you thought would take a lifetime to unlock. You will see your finances stabilize and overflow with a speed that will leave you breathless. The health you thought was gone forever is being renewed like the eagles. Do not measure your future by the slow pace of your past. I am removing the friction and the delays. Because you have waited on me, you shall mount up with wings. The world says it's too late, but I say it is exactly the right time. Your Kairos moment has arrived, and in this atmosphere of acceleration, one day of my favor will be worth 1,000 years of your labor. This restoration is not a slow process. It is a sudden eruption of my glory. I am knitting back together the fragmented pieces of your timeline until it looks as though the trauma never happened. You will look back at this season of lack and struggle, and it will seem like a distant, flickering dream, swallowed up by the brilliance of the abundance I am pouring out. I am restoring your joy, your strength, and your influence. Every tear you shed has been converted into a drop of oil for your lamp. And now that lamp will burn brighter than those who never knew the darkness. Do not look at the calendar. Look at my face. I am doing a new thing, and it springs forth even now. Your time has been redeemed. Your years have been restored, and your greatest chapters are being written this very hour. My beloved child, the word I am speaking to you is not merely a collection of sounds. It is spirit, and it is life. Because I am shifting the very foundations of your reality, your physical body will begin to register the changes happening in the unseen realm. I want you to pay close attention over the next 72 hours, for I am giving you tangible signs that the 11:47 p.m. decree is in full effect. Even now, as my voice vibrates within your soul, some of you are beginning to feel a gentle, radiant warmth spreading across your chest. This is not a common heat. It is the fire of my holy presence, the burning heart that comes when I draw near to my chosen ones. This warmth is melting away the python of anxiety that has constricted your breathing for so long. It is the spiritual cauterization of the wounds left by betrayal and loss. When you feel this heat, know that I am sitting on the throne of your heart, displacing every fear and establishing my kingdom of peace within your very cells. As this divine energy continues to flow, You may notice a peculiar tingling sensation in the palms of your hands and at the tips of your fingers. Do not be afraid, for this is the activation of the power to produce that I am restoring to you. For too long your hands have felt heavy and empty, as if everything you touched turned to dust. But I am recalibrating your touch. This tingling is the sign that your hands are being anointed for the divine transaction mentioned in the courts. Whatever you set your hand to in this new season, whether it is signing a contract, planting a seed, or comforting a loved one, will carry a supernatural charge. Furthermore, you will feel a light, steady pressure in the center of your forehead between your eyes. This is the opening of your spiritual vision, the eye of faith. I am removing the scales of doubt and worldly cynicism so that you can see the opportunities and the angels that I have placed in your path. This pressure is the mark of my wisdom being downloaded into your mind, giving you creative ideas and strategies that will bypass years of struggle. In these 72 hours, I am also performing a deep work of physical renewal, fulfilling the promise that those who wait upon me shall renew their strength. If you have been feeling a chronic bone-deep weariness, I am breathing my ruach, my breath of life, into your lungs. I am touching your joints, your blood, and your nervous system. You shall mount up with wings like eagles. You shall run and not be weary. You shall walk and not faint. This is the health of the kingdom manifesting in the vessel of your body. When you feel these sensations, the warmth, the tingling, the pressure, do not dismiss them as mere coincidence. They are the physical signatures of my grace. I invite you now to acknowledge these signs. If you can feel my presence moving in your body even now, do not remain silent. Type "I feel you, Lord," or 888 in the comments to witness to the work I am doing. Press the like button to seal this physical healing into your frame, and stay subscribed to this vessel of light. For I have much more to reveal as your body and spirit become one with my purpose. My child, I have seen the bills piling up on your table and the silent math you do in your head every time you walk through a grocery store. I have heard the heavy sigh you release when you look at your bank balance and feel the suffocating grip of not enough. For too long you have lived in a cycle of survival where you are constantly planting seeds but never seeing the harvest, or where the harvest is devoured by unexpected expenses before you can even taste its sweetness. But I am declaring an end to the season of lack. I am the Lord of the silver and the gold, and I am not just your shepherd, I am your provider. I am breaking the back of the spirit of poverty that has followed your family for generations. The 11:47 p.m. decree includes a total restructuring of your financial reality. I am shifting you from the grind of human effort into the flow of divine favor. You have been faithful with the little, and now the much is being released from the storehouses of heaven to find its way to your hands. Listen to the promise I wrote for this very hour. The days are coming when the reaper will be overtaken by the plowman and the planter by the one treading grapes. This is the law of supernatural acceleration. In the natural world, there is a long, grueling gap between sowing and reaping. But in my kingdom, the harvest is moving so fast that it will collide with your act of planting. I am bringing a financial explosion into your life where the results will far outweigh your labor. I have seen the testimonies of those who stepped out in faith, the one who sowed a small seed and received a 1,000-fold return, or the one who gave their last and found a contract for $40,000 waiting in their inbox. These are not coincidences, they are the mechanics of my kingdom. I am opening the windows of heaven over you right now. I am commanding the north, south, east, and west to surrender the resources that have been held back from you. Prepare your storehouses, for the overflow is no longer a someday hope. It is a right now manifestation. Because you have reached this pivotal moment of revelation, I want to seal this financial shift in your spirit. If you can sense that the atmosphere of your house is changing and you are ready to walk into the abundance I have prepared, take a moment to align yourself with this heavenly frequency. Press the like button and subscribe to this channel right now as a prophetic act of agreement. By doing this, you are telling the universe and the enemy that you no longer belong to the kingdom of lack, but to the family of the King. This is your middle CTA of faith, a simple action that signals your soul is ready to receive the heavy weight of my blessing. Do not let the spirit of common sense talk you out of this divine alignment. Your miracle is waiting for your yes. I am prophesying specifically over your debts and your career. I am the God who can cancel a debt in a single afternoon. I am putting my finger on the records of those you owe, and I am causing them to have a change of heart, or for the records to simply vanish. I am sending suddenlies into your mailbox, checks you didn't expect, rebates you forgot about, and settlements that have been tied up for years. For those of you seeking a career shift, I am opening doors of destiny that no man can shut. You will be invited to tables you didn't even know existed. You will receive favor in the eyes of employers and clients who will choose you even when others seem more qualified on paper. I am giving you the Amos 9:13 speed. The struggle to make ends meet is ending today. I am your source and my supply is inexhaustible. If you believe I am breaking the chains of lack over your life right now, type "Breakthrough is mine" or 777 in the comments to claim your financial explosion. My beloved child, I have seen the way you walked away from certain circles with your head bowed in shame, feeling the sting of rejection like a cold wind against your soul. I watched you endure the whispers of those who called you unlucky or whispered that you had been forgotten by me. I saw the pain in your eyes when those who were supposed to love and protect you instead became the loudest voices of criticism, mocking the very faith that was keeping you alive. But I am the God of vindication, and I am here to tell you that your season of being the outcast is officially over. The 11:47 p.m. decree has triggered a restoration of your honor. Those very people and institutions that once shut their doors in your face claiming you weren't enough will soon find themselves needing the very wisdom and light I have hidden within you. I am preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies, not so you can gloat, but so they can witness the undeniable weight of my glory upon your life. Those who laughed at your prayers will soon come to you asking for a prayer, for they will see that the hand of the Almighty is unmistakably upon you. I am moving now into the fractured spaces of your home, into the silences that have lasted too long, and the arguments that have left deep, jagged scars. I am the great reconciler, and I am touching the hearts of your family members even as you hear these words. For those of you mourning a marriage that feels like a heap of cold ashes, I am blowing the breath of life upon the embers. I am softening hearts that have been turned to stone by years of resentment. For those of you weeping over children who have wandered far into the darkness, hear me now, they are coming home. I have placed a hook in their spirits that will not let them rest until they return to the light. I am restoring the years of communication that were stolen by pride. You are not just a parent or a spouse. You are the spiritual gatekeeper of your lineage. I am healing your identity, peeling away the labels of victim, failure, and rejected that the world has tried to tattoo on your soul. I am replacing them with my labels: chosen royalty, beloved, and victor. You are not what they did to you. You are who I say you are. It is time to bury the inner victim once and for all and step into the power of the victor I created you to be. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are your credentials, the proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. I am restoring your confidence in your voice. You will no longer speak from a place of if or maybe, but from a place of I know. I am bringing into your life a new tribe, divine connections, destiny helpers, and true brothers and sisters who will see your worth without you having to explain it. These are people who will pour into you as much as you pour into them. The isolation is ending. If you believe I am restoring your name, your family, and your true identity right now, type "I am a victor" or 1111 in the comments to seal this restoration. Do not be ashamed of your journey, for the world is about to see that I did not bring you this far to leave you, but to manifest my greatness through your restoration. My beloved, listen to the shifting of the winds and the cracking of the ice around your destiny. For I am declaring that your long, bitter winter has officially come to an end. You have spent what feels like a lifetime in the wilderness season, wandering through dry places where every fountain seemed to be an illusion, and every oasis turned out to be a mirage. You have been in the training ground of silence, where you learned to lean on me because there was no one else to hold your hand. But hear me now, the wilderness was never meant to be your home. It was only your school. You have passed the tests of discouragement, of isolation, and of faith in the face of nothingness. The 11:47 p.m. decree has signaled a transition into a completely different spiritual climate. I am moving you off the old timeline, the one marked by not yet, maybe tomorrow, and try again later. And I am placing your feet upon the new timeline of supernatural acceleration. The era of the slow crawl is over. The hour of the flight has begun. Behold, my precious one, I am doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? Even now it springs forth from the very ground you thought was cursed. I am making a way in the wasteland of your career and carving out rivers of abundance in the desert of your bank account. Do not look back at the former things or dwell on the failures of the past, for they belong to a person who no longer exists. On this new timeline, I am removing the friction that once made every step feel like a battle against the tide. I am aligning the stars of your favor so that you no longer have to knock on closed doors. The doors themselves will sense my presence upon you and swing wide before you even arrive. I am breathing my ruach into your schedule, turning your hours into days and your days into years of productivity. The new thing I am doing is not a modification of your old life. It is a total, radical rebirth of your potential. I am giving you a new name, a new song, and a new authority that the world will not be able to ignore. In this new timeline, the word delay has been stricken from your vocabulary. I have issued a heavenly injunction against the spirits of stagnation. No longer will you have to wait decades to see the fruit of your labor, because I am the Lord of the harvest and the Redeemer of time. I am bringing you into a season where the harvest is already waiting for the seed to hit the ground. You are walking into prepackaged miracles that I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. This is the Isaiah 43:19 reality, where the impossible becomes the inevitable. The wilderness is behind you, and the promised land is not just a dream anymore. It is the ground beneath your feet. If you can feel the shift in the atmosphere and you are ready to leave the old timeline behind forever, do not hesitate. Press the like button and subscribe as a final act of transition. Type, "My time has come," or 1212 in the comments to claim this divine order. The path is clear, the light is bright, and the new day is dawning. My beloved child, we have reached the threshold of your new reality, and the atmosphere of heaven is thick with the anticipation of your breakthrough. The 11:47 p.m. decree has been signed, the 44-day preparation is complete, and Archangel Michael is standing by your side with his sword unsheathed, ready to enforce the legal victory won in the highest courts. But as your creator, I require one final response from your earthly vessel to bridge the gap between the spirit and the flesh. I am placing in your hands 4 divine keys of activation that will function as the trigger for the supernatural acceleration I have promised. These are not mere suggestions. They are the physical mechanisms of your faith. The first key is your spiritual signature. When you press the like button on this message, you are not engaging with an algorithm. You are placing your thumbprint upon the heavenly contract. It is a sign to the unseen realm that you have heard my voice, recognized my authority, and accepted the terms of your new timeline. Do not let this moment pass in silence, for your signature is the seal of your agreement. The second key is the power of prophetic declaration through your words. In my kingdom, nothing moves until someone speaks. I have given you specific codes of light to release into the atmosphere of your home. I want you to go to the comments right now and type the numbers that resonate with your spirit. Type 777 to activate the perfection of my plan, 7B7 to command the restoration of everything stolen, 4444 to acknowledge the angelic hedge of protection around your family, or 999 to declare that the old cycle is dead and the new life has begun. If your soul is weary of numbers and yearns for words, simply type "My time has come" or "No more delay." As you type, the enemy hears the sound of his defeat and the legal records of the dark courts are incinerated. This is your moment to claim the divine transaction with the authority of a king. Do not be timid, for the gates of heaven respond to the bold. The third key is the activation of the conduit. I have not called you to be a reservoir where my blessings become stagnant and hidden. I have called you to be a river of life. Right now, my spirit is bringing a specific name to your mind, a friend, a stranger, or a family member who is drowning in the same anxiety you once felt. I am calling you to share this message with them, to be the messenger of hope that I used to reach you. By sharing this light with 3 people, you are telling the heavens that you are a trustworthy steward of my grace. As you give, it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The fourth key is the key of the sanctuary. Subscribe to this channel now as a commitment to stay connected to the vine. This is not about a number. It is about your alignment. By joining this family of believers, you ensure that your spirit remains tuned to the frequency of my ongoing revelations, and you protect the seeds of this prophecy from being stolen by the distractions of the world. Now, my precious one, stand still and witness the finality of my word. I want you to remember the promise I made. I am not a man that I should lie, nor a son of man that I should change my mind. Does the sovereign Lord speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? The answer is written in the stars and carved into the foundations of the earth. I am sealing this entire message from the 43,217 tears to the financial explosion of Amos 9:13 with the fire of my eternal presence. No weapon formed against this word shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against your vindication is already condemned. The 44 days of waiting are over. The 72 hours of physical signs have begun. The 11:47 p.m. decree is now the law of your life. It is done. It is finished. It is irreversible. Press the like button and subscribe one last time to anchor your soul in this victory, and type "Amen" or "It is done" to lock this blessing into your destiny forever. Go forth in power, for I am with you always.